Welcome to the Property Profits Real Estate Podcast, the show where real estate investors talk strategy, capital, deals, and growth with your host, Dave Dubeau.
Hey gang, welcome back. Today my special guest, Carrie Zatelli, zooming in from just outside of Cleveland, is an experienced multifamily real estate investor who doesn't have a ton of years behind her. She's got, at the point of this recording, 3 solid years in the field with it. But what I find fascinating is Carrie got into multifamily when the gravy days were kind of behind us. Like, I've interviewed a lot of people that got into the field back in the 2010s, 2015, 2020s, that kind of thing. And they kind of rode the wave that crashed. And Carrie got into this when things weren't so great, and she's been making a very, very good go of it. She's got, I believe, 3 deals, large deals up and going. She's got a lot of experience very, very quickly, and I'm really looking forward to having this conversation. So, Carrie, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Hi, thank you. I'm really excited to be here, and thanks for having me on. I really appreciate
My pleasure.
it.
So, Carrie, you are in Cleveland. Your properties are in Texas. Let's just kind of talk a little bit about what does your portfolio currently consist of, what kind of properties, and why have you chosen Texas as your primary market?
Originally, I was looking in Cleveland and was on a few deals, that didn't wind up going forward, whether that was the sellers backed out or as you're doing your due diligence, you realize this isn't really, really going to work out for us. So toured in the Ohio area. And that was what I wanted to do because I thought I'm here, I'm close. I can, that was important to me.
Feel it, touch it, drive by
Yep.
it. I get it. Yeah.
And so those 2 deals, ultimately, we didn't move forward on. And then, through that, met some other investors that I trusted and saw what a, great job they did in the due diligence and, we're someone, we could work with. And so we found a few deals in Texas, really good deals. And like you said, it was at a different time but I think when there's a different time like that, there's also a benefit to
Huge
people that are in the hole and
Yeah.
they really they need a handout, they need a hand down and kind of like, hey, so it kind of goes both ways. You can, if you got yourself into trouble, but you can also look at it as there's a lot of deals that need to get sold and
get taken out of trouble. Yeah, I get
Right.
opportunity. Very cool, Carrie. So you got into multifamily. What was it that sparked your interest, number one, in real estate, and number 2, why did you decide multifamily?
So I'm sort of an attorney by education and had been an attorney. I mean, I still am an attorney, but I had worked as a prosecutor for almost a decade and then was in private at a civil firm. And I had decided that maybe I wanted, I was working a lot of hours and that was, you trade your time for money. And so I thought maybe I could get something that didn't take as much time. And then I could get maybe an apartment, like an 8-unit, 10-unit. But for me, that like once you start learning how to do it, like, why would I do that?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I just, and that was right around COVID, the time of COVID. And I thought the last thing I need to do is buy one of these. There's that, you can't evict people for a while, get myself in the hole. So I really just started joining groups, meeting people, reading, listening to every podcast possible and really learning,
Hopefully you're tuning into this one on a daily.
this one was, everyone that came out. Yeah. So, so I just really dove in and, read books and joined groups and went to different meetups and multifamily to me was understandable. Mm-hmm. And, it was something I could sort of resonate with and do. And so, after you meet a bunch of people and find sort of the people that you should trust and that resonate, some people you can't work with or some people, that you would be, so found some people that I really trusted and a few people that were very experienced that kind of said, come in and do this. And I think with my legal background also that, once you find what you can add to the group,
Well, that was going to be my next question, Carrie, is, a lot of people get into multifamily and it's tough to kind of do the whole thing by yourself, like analyzing properties, doing due diligence, beating the, tarmac to find deals, getting financing, managing properties, raising capital, yada, all that kind of stuff, and the legals. So where do you and your company fit in to the big scheme of things in the deals that you're part of?
I have been a part more in the beginning with the due diligence, with a lot of the legal things. I'm able to sort of understand that, work with the attorneys on certain things, and even do some of it myself. And then I also raise capital.
Okay, very good.
I originally started raising capital, really focusing on attorneys,
Yeah.
And
well, you know them. You can speak the lingo. Yeah, you
right.
get where they're coming from, for sure.
And then more recently have realized really the need for women to get into investing and, kind of make sure that so that's kind of been the shift from,
who you're focusing on. Okay, very, very cool. So now that you're several years into actively participating in real estate deals, you're still working as an attorney. You're a busy mom. You got lots of stuff. Oh, you're not still working as an attorney, or yes, you are?
No, I actually no, not currently.
Okay.
I opened a medical weight loss clinic.
Well, there you go. So that's just that's just a walk in the park. That doesn't take up much time. But bottom line is, you're a very busy person. So you had the attorney thing going for a long time. Now you got a whole other business. Then you got real estate, and you're a very busy mom as well. Now that you're several years into multifamily real estate investing, I know you had that initial outlook or what you thought it was going to look like. Now you're in the trenches. What, if anything, has been kind of either a pleasant or unpleasant surprise for you?
I think the pleasant surprise has been is sort of the networking and really meeting some really good people. And when you can surround yourself by good people and the people that are willing to work really hard, because when you're getting investors money, it's just so important that you have the right people around you, because it's so important that they're getting their money back plus what you have, anticipated. And so I think a pleasant surprise has been just how many really good partners that I've had, and how, hard they work. So
do you have different partners for each property, or do you work kind of with the same partners across multiple?
It's sort of, I have the partners that I really trust, that we kind of stick together, and then they have some people, everyone has someone
they bring in
that they trust that maybe I didn't know as well. But there's been, of course, people are people. So there's been some, decisions that other people don't like, but really it's just been a really pleasant experience so far to meet, these people that are smart and work with them and see how much, they just know so much. And
you're coming from a background of litigation. So, I mean,
right. Yeah.
It sounds like a more pleasant way of doing business. That's for sure.
Hey there, if you're a capital raiser, a syndicator, or a fund manager, and you're looking for a steady flow of incoming accredited investor leads, then go ahead, grab a free copy of my new book, How to Get 20 Accredited Investor Meetings Every Month Without Cold Calling, Networking, or Chasing People. You can get that at 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com. Again, that's the number 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com.
Very, very cool. So tell me a little bit about the properties that you've currently got in the portfolio, Carrie. Where are they? What sizes are they?
So 124 unit. It was a 23 unit. We added a unit, built a unit in Fort Worth. Mm-hmm. And then 184 unit in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
There's one in Charlotte, and right outside of Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, so it's not all Texas. You got a couple of in
Right.
markets as well. Okay,
Yeah.
very, very cool. Very interesting. And a big part of what you do involves looking at the paperwork, doing the due diligence on the legal side of things. That's huge, right? That's wonderful that you bring that skill set to the table. The other skill set you bring is raising capital. What's been your learning experience around that over the last few years? You mentioned that initially you focused on fellow attorneys, people in the legal field. How did you get things rolling, especially day one when you had no track record, no experience, no nothing? Walk us kind of through your experience so far with
Yeah. So really joining just everything you can. I think real estate syndications are about meeting people. I mean, these like big machines work with, you got to find the money counters that are really good at all the money. You got to find the people that are good at running the assets. And so I think meeting as many people as you can and going to different conferences and really finding the people that, are looking at what you're looking at and have the skills that you don't have. I don't.
So is that for finding, active real estate partners, or are you talking about finding the capital?
That's for finding. Well, you know what? Interestingly, I think that it's for kind of both. I mean, I've had people that I've met that maybe are coming out of something with IRAs or someone that can't invest in their own deals and they're looking for something to invest in, and but as far as like raising capital, I think that's just letting everybody know what you do and kind of sitting back. In the beginning, I kind of pushed people a little bit like, you should do this. It's a good deal. And then you realize that, you just kind of got to let people know what you're doing and let them talk to the people that are, investing with you. And
So again, day one, if you rewind back to day one, you hadn't raised any capital for real estate before. You're doing your first raise for your first deal. How did you get the ball rolling and get those first investors on board?
I mean, a lot of people knew that I had already was looking at apartments, in the couple of years prior. I had been talking about looking at, I had gotten the financing for it and everything, and I was actually going out and looking at them. And so I had talked to friends and family just in general about it. And then when COVID came and everything was kind of, and I took another route when I started talking about the raising capital and doing the syndications, a lot of people don't even know what they are. I mean, you have to really explain to them like how they work. And I think when you do that and you talk about it and you're excited about it, I started like a newsletter, and it started with my friends and family, and then you get a few people on your first deal. You can't raise as much as you think you're going to, but you do raise some, and then that one's going well and the people are getting distributions and everything's kind of plugging along. And then, they tell an extra person, and it just is sort of like keeps expanding.
Nice.
And as you talk to people about what you do and, how you do it, then it's almost like word of mouth, but you've got to put effort into it. I mean, you have to make sure you're telling people, and I mean, even
so when you say make sure you're telling people, it's not like you're going out on the street with a bullhorn and yelling out to the masses. What does that mean for you? Like, is this just in casual conversations with people you know? Are you doing stuff on social media? How are you getting the word out and keeping people abreast of your developments?
So I do go to like local real estate group events, and even go to. There are a lot. I don't know if this is everywhere, but in the Cleveland area, there's a lot of single family groups that meet like on Meetup, and and I found even going to those, people are interested in investing.
Right.
Might not want to be on the big syndications because they're flippers or whatever, but they are in that space and they understand.
Right. They already drank the real estate Kool-Aid.
Right.
You don't have to educate them about that. It's just see if they're interested in multifamily.
Right. So, like friends and family, it just kind of starts to expand. And, people that even when I was looking for a place for my clinic, and talking to those realtors and kind of telling them what I did, then someone was like, oh, I always wanted to find someone to invest with. I just don't know who to. So you meet them for coffee, or you just kind of make sure that you are letting them know that's what you do,
Yeah.
and, I mean, it's more intentional than just saying like, hey, I also have this. It's sort of like, because you're asking people for a lot of money. So you kind of got to really be, much more, I don't know, tender is the word, but much more, thoughtful about how you
delicate a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, just joining different groups and being involved in different things. And, once everybody kind of knows that you do that, people will reach out to you or say, hey, I have a friend who wanted to touch base with you. And, the majority of people are a little nervous to do it. But then you get the ones that are really excited about it, and you tell them about the deals that you have coming up. And, the one thing I did learn early is you don't start that process, obviously, when you have the deal,
That's what I was going to point out that I was listening to you about, Carrie, is you started talking about this and telling people about what you're up to when you were in the education phase, like when you were learning about it. You were sharing that and you're telling your friends and family, and you were excited about it, and you weren't pitching anybody on anything at that point. And then you started looking at deals locally, and you had a couple that were close calls, but nothing quite happened. But you were actively and you weren't shy about it. Like you were talking about that. And then when you did have your first deal to raise capital for, you weren't starting from scratch. You already had your newsletter going. You had stuff happening. So like you're saying, right? You don't wait till you got the deal and then start talking about raising caps.
Yeah. I think, I don't want to say I got lucky on the first one. I mean, I was with really experienced people when the sellers couldn't quite decide what they wanted to do. But, I was raising capital at that time, and I think everyone said, like, come back in a year or something, you know what I mean? And you kind of think it's going to be a lot easier because you just have so much belief in the people that you're working with. And, and I had learned so much. And so, then in a year, I'm like, remember what you told me? Yeah.
It's working.
I'm here.
I'm still here and it's working. Yeah.
Right.
That's fair enough, right? It's like you say, it's not a little amount of money you're getting people to invest. It's $50, $100, $200,000, whatever your minimum is. So that's wonderful. Well, very, very cool, Carrie. Thanks for kind of walking us through that, because I think a lot of people are licking their wounds in the space and kind of poor me kind of thing. But it's nice to hear from somebody that jumped in when things weren't like at the peak, when like you got in when everybody else was starting to struggle. But that's part of the reason you've been able to find good deals and good opportunities. So where do you see things going for you and your real estate business over the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think we've had success in Texas, and we're going to keep investing there. I'm still looking in Ohio. I think those are the two places where I have partners, and obviously if I'm here, can kind of be someone that can go to the place and meet with people, and
be the boots on the ground.
Everybody's doing everything. Yeah. So, and we're kind of C-class properties, probably over, somewhere between 150 and plus, or right around there. And yes, maybe need some renovations. Maybe they don't. Maybe someone's in the hole. It's always good to find the people that have, a couple that's owned it for many years are looking to get out. So,
the tired landlords.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So,
Very good.
So just gonna, get one at a time and kind of build on that. And, the investors are coming out of our other deals, are coming back into our new ones. So
that's good. That's fantastic. Well, congratulations.
Thank
you. And who are you looking to get connected with these days, Carrie?
Investors and, certainly I would always welcome more good partners, but I think that really takes some time to evolve, those kind of partnerships, especially when you're making sure you're preserving your investors' cash. So, but certainly investors for sure, and sort of the deal finders.
The deal finders and investors. All right. So where's Where can people reach out and find out more about you and connect with you directly, Carrie?
You can go to my LinkedIn, which is I'm the only Carrie Zatelli on there. So as far as I know, you'll be able to find me. My picture's on there. You can connect with me on there for sure.
Fantastic. Well, Carrie, thanks so much for being on the show. This has been great.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Property Profits Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, apply at daveinterviews.com.